Okay, hello and welcome. My name is Eric Fairman. Today I want you guys to answer this question. Is a scholarship enough? Is a scholarship enough? These big-time college athletes that go to these big-time Division I schools, should they be getting paid? Or is their scholarship enough? To me, it's not enough. And I will explain why I think that. But as we progress through this PowerPoint, I want you guys individually to think about that and answer the question to yourselves. First thing I want to talk about is this number right here, 43.3. Okay, you might be asking yourselves, wondering, what is 43.3? This is the average amount of time in hours that a big-time Division I college athlete dedicates to their sport. 43.3 hours a week. Not including homework, tests, studying, schoolwork. This is just 43.3 hours dedicated to their sport. Whether they're practicing on a football field, lifting in the gym, conditioning on a field. 43.3 hours. Now let's compare that real fast to the average American work week of 40 hours. They're putting in more work a lot of times than an average American. Okay, and that average American who's working that 40-hour work week is making a good amount of money. Okay, but these students who are putting in 3.3 more hours a week are seeing absolutely no money other than their scholarship money. After I talk about my next point on this next slide, okay, it'll all start to come together. Okay, it's just a picture of money, okay, but the NCAA produces a lot of it, in particular $11 billion annually, roughly $11 billion. It's pretty amazing. That statistic might surprise you. It might not. But when I read that, I was pretty surprised. $11 billion a year. Just through NCAA sports. We all know who this is. The Alabama Crimson Tide. The Alabama football team. Let's talk about them for a little bit. Okay? The University of Alabama reported $143 million in athletic revenues this past year. $143 million in athletic revenues. Players ain't seeing none of that money. Absolutely not. That's going to the coaches, to this coach, to that coach, to the administration. Okay? Players are seeing none of that money. 143 mil. Players are seeing none of it. Okay? Not to mention, okay, $143 million that they brought in, that is more than all 30 NHL teams and 25 out of the 30 NBA teams. Guys, these are professional sports teams we're talking about here. The NBA, the NHL. You have this team bringing in more money than professional organizations. Why do the players not deserve any of that money? 40 out of 50. Anyone know what this is? 40 out of 50. 40 out of 50. Well, I'll tell you what it means. 40 out of the 50 states in the United States. Who's the highest paid person? Who is the highest paid person? Well, let me tell you. In 40 of the 50 U.S. states, the highest paid public official is currently the head coach of a state university's football or men's basketball team. Pretty astonishing, right? Got this piece of land called the United States of America, made up of 50 states. And 80% of these states, the highest paid public official is a coach. A coach. Here's two of them right here. Coach Saban from the Alabama football team, okay? And Coach Calipari from the Kentucky basketball team. Anyone have any idea how much Coach Nick Saban makes at the University of Alabama annually? Coach Nick Saban for the University of Alabama football makes more than $7 million a year annually to coach a football team. Well, he's one of those 40. Same with Coach Calipari from Kentucky, who makes well over $1 million a year coaching his Kentucky Wildcats basketball team. These two men right here. These two men making well over $1 million. And again, the students, these players who are playing the game on national television, bringing in $11 billion, are seeing none of that money. Not saying these two coaches are bad. They are some of the best coaches around. You know, the best football coach in college, you instantly think Nick Saban. Best basketball coach, it's either Coach K or Coach Calipari. But why are these players who are actually playing the game not seeing any of that money? It just doesn't make sense to me. Let's talk about these two schools for a second. You guys all know Georgetown University and Gonzaga University. There's stories behind these two schools. We'll talk about Georgetown first. Patrick Ewing. We all know who Patrick Ewing is. Great basketball player. In the 1982-83 NCAA basketball season, Patrick Ewing played for Georgetown University. He led them on a Cinderella run into the Final Four of the March Madness tournament. Okay, Georgetown was a pretty big name school back then. Okay, not the biggest. Okay, but Patrick Ewing, led this team on a run to the Final Four. Okay, they got a bunch of name recognition, which I'll talk about with Gonzaga in a second, how important name recognition is. Okay, but Georgetown got a ton of name recognition. In the following year, 47% increase in undergraduate applications and a 40-point rise in freshman SAT scores. Was it the 1982-83 basketball season that got all these high school kids looking at this college? I don't know. You can argue it both ways. But a 47% rise in undergraduate applications and a 40-point rise in SAT scores? Name recognition. It's huge. And that's where Gonzaga University comes in. Gonzaga University. If it was not for their sports programs, in particular their basketball sports program, I know I wouldn't know it. I know I wouldn't know the university. A lot of people on the East Coast wouldn't know the university. Okay? Gonzaga University. Think about this. How much more money they would have to spend building up name recognition if it wasn't for their basketball team. I know Gonzaga University because of their basketball team. Because I see them playing in March every year in the tournament. It's pretty simple, guys. Name recognition. Okay? You see these college teams play on TV, and you see them succeed. As an athlete, you might want to go there, or as a student, you might want to go there. And again, SAT scores were up the following year. Or not the following year for Gonzaga, but continually, they continue to rise. As well as undergraduate applications. These are stats, guys. These are stats. Okay? That concludes my presentation for the most part. I'll ask you guys again, is a scholarship enough? You really think a scholarship's enough? Having these kids' school paid for? Yeah, it's a lot. But how about that $11 billion extra dollars that these kids bring in to their respective colleges and universities. Where's that going? They're bringing it in. They're the ones playing on TV. They're the ones having to miss class to go play these games. They're the ones dedicating 43.3 hours of their week to the sport that they play. 43.3 hours that could be dedicated in other places, such as studying, doing homework, okay, academics. 43.3 hours, no, they're on the sports. They're on the football field, the basketball court, the baseball field, whatever it may be. Do these athletes deserve to get paid more? You ask me, my answer is yes. It's yes today, it'll be yes tomorrow, it'll be yes 10 years from now. What do you guys think?